everyone, this is Dave from Geekanoids, and in this video I'm going to be showing you a side-by-side comparison of the iPhone 4 here on the left, the new iPod Touch 4th generation and the previous generation iPod Touch. Now the main differences are that the iPhone 4 and the 4th gen iPod Touch both have Retina displays, the higher resolution, and the previous gen iPod Touch does not. That has the regular lower resolution screen. Now before I show you a difference on the screen angles and the clarity of the screens, let's just take a look at the two iPod Touches. I'm going to show you the physical differences first. So let's just have a look at a side-by-side difference. Now the new iPod Touch is on top, and as you can see it's a lot thinner than the previous generation. Let's go around to top view and you can see it a bit more clearly there, the difference in thickness. And again on this side we've got a slight difference here where the previous generation iPod Touch has got a sort of volume rocker and the new iPod Touch has got separate up and down volume buttons. And then round the bottom, another difference here. Previous gen iPod Touch had speaker built in just down here in the way in the dock connector somewhere, and the new iPod Touch has got an actual visible little speaker on this left hand side. Earphone jack in the same place, and then around this side where background's completely clear. Now the other physical differences are the backs of the iPod Touches. The previous iPod Touch had a little black piece of plastic where the Wi-Fi was, and on the new iPod Touch we've got the camera, which is the HD video camera with the little hole there for the microphone. And the other difference is of course round the front. The previous iPod Touch has no camera at the top, and the new iPod Touch has a new front-facing camera for use for video conferencing with that new FaceTime application. Now the screens, they are different resolutions. I'm going to show you the screen resolutions in a short while. Now we'll move over to the iPod Touch 4th generation and the iPhone 4. Now the dimensions, as you probably are aware, iPod Touch is a lot thinner, but the actual physical dimensions, if you look at the sort of height and width, they are pretty similar. So that's probably something to do with them both having exactly the same screen on the front, albeit the iPhone has IPS technology and the new iPod Touch doesn't, but physical dimensions are very similar indeed. So now let's get these all switched on, and I'm going to show you some close-ups of the screens running. Now again from left to right we have the iPhone 4 first of all, and then panning across to the 4th gen iPod Touch, and then round to the previous gen iPod Touch. And we're at a slight angle here, so it's giving you an idea of the viewing angle of all the screens. Now again to look at the clarity of the screens, this is the iPhone 4, the 4th gen iPod Touch, and the previous gen iPod Touch. Now I want to give you a side-by-side view of the clarity of these screens. This is the 4th gen iPod Touch on the left, and then the previous generation iPod Touch on the right. And as you see on the left hand side, the new iPod Touch, a lot crisper text and a lot better clarity to the screen. And now I want to show you the clarity of the two screens with the iPhone 4 on the left and the iPod Touch 4th gen on the right. As you can see, the clarity when you're looking direct onto the screen is very similar indeed, and it's just the viewing angles that change how the screen looks. As you can see, the iPhone 4 on the left remains very clear even at quite a sharp viewing angle, whereas you start to lose the clarity of the screen on the 4th gen iPod Touch. Well, I hope that's given you a good idea of how these new devices look in comparison to the previous generation iPod Touch. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Dave from Geekanoids. please do check back on the channel for some more coverage on the new 4th Gen iPod Touch, where I'll be showing you some HD video footage and some photos, as well as a complete product review. I'll leave you with this video closing to some close-ups of the new 2010 Apple iPod Touch. This video is sponsored by mymemory.com. For great prices, fast delivery and reliable customer support, visit mymemory.com.